Hi, good evening to everyone. As today's class, we are going to see grade 10 IT, that is Introduction of Database Management System. I hope you all are preparing for your exam. This will be helpful. Uh, so, if you have any doubt, you can ask after the completion of this topic. A small and fast uh, way we are going to complete this database management system, Introduction to Database Management System. So we all know that database means nothing but it is an organized collection of data that we want to store electronically. So database is an organized collection of data that is maintained electronically. So this is the point. Database is an organized collection of data that is maintained electronically. So that can be any kind of data. It is not only the text or numbers, whatever text, numbers, pictures, videos, file, everything you can store in a database. So the data can be stored, retrieved, edited using the software. So you can store the data, retrieve. That means whenever you need, you can fetch the data. You can receive take the data from where you stored. Then later you want to do some edition, that is you want to add some new things over there, or you want to delete, that is called editing. Okay, so the data can be stored, retrieved, and edited using the software is known as database management system. Again, I am repeating, database is an organized collection of data that is maintained electronically. The data can be of any kind, like a text, numbers, pictures, videos, that can be stored as a file in a database. The data, what we are storing, that can retrieve and edit for the later purpose using the software is known as the database management system. So using LibreOffice base, we are going to study this database management system. As I hope you know this is the LibreOffice base. When you open, you will get it in the left side. You will get the database pane. Under that table, queries, forms, reports. Then the task, you will get three ways, like you want to create the table in the design view, or in using the wizard, or using create view. So this later section we will see. Now what is the introduction of the database management system? Only that we are going to study in this topic. Okay, the first thing, because database management system, what is data, that we want to see. So data is nothing but it is a collection of facts which do not have any meaning. So it can be anything, the collection of facts which do not have any meaning. For example, 1, x, dxb, mm, like what to say, naga. So this all the fact, but we don't know what is the meaning of this one, what is the meaning of this x, what is the meaning of this dxb. So data is nothing but it is a collection of facts which do not have any meaning. This data is unstructured information such as numbers, text, symbols, and image, that is called as data. Then what is information? The information depends on the data. Thus information has some meaning. Like for example, if I am saying this one is a roll number, x is a name, dxb is a place or city, Nagar is a address. So it has a meaning. Now, if I am saying like roll number 1, so this 1 has the meaning. Now, what is this 1 is called? So that is called the information. So information depends on the data. This information has some meaning. This information refers to organized structured data. So I hope you understand the difference between the data and the information. Data is nothing but it is the collection of facts which do not have any meaning, that is called as data. And information depends on the data. This information has some meaning. The information refers to an organized structure of data. Now the important things, that is database we are saying. So database is what? It is a collection of logically related data items stored in an organized manner. It is also known as the data bank. Then DBMS, the full form of DBMS is Database Management System. Database Management System. So it is a software used to create, update, and retrieve the data is known as database management system. So database management system is a software that is used to create, update, and retrieve the data is known as database management system. So here we have given some example of the DBMS. So in that we are studying this LibreOffice base. We have MS Access, OpenOffice, Base, Oracle, MySQL, like that, a different DBMS we have. So what is DBMS? DBMS is nothing but it is a software that is used to create, update, retrieve the data from the database management system. And the example of DBMS, so many examples are given over here. In that, we are going to study LibreOffice base. Okay. Now, what is the use of using this database management system? First thing, organized storage. The data are stored in an organized manner. So why? When we stored the data in an organized manner, it is very easy for us to retrieve the data whenever we need. In a fast and accurate way, we can retrieve the data. So the first advantage is organized storage. Second is data analysis. Whenever we want to do the analysis, we need the data in an accurate manner. So the database, using the database, you can retrieve the data based on some criteria. Like for example, I want to know who got the maximum mark in this particular subject, who got the highest mark, or who got what is the average class mark. All that detail easily, when the data are stored in the database, we can retrieve it. So for the data analysis purpose, the first advantage is organized storage. Second is data analysis. Third is data sharing. Database can share the data with other applications. So we are using LibreOffice. The same data, if you want to use in some other application, easily you can share the data. Then minimal data redundancy. So redundancy means nothing but duplication of data. So minimal data redundancy means the database duplicate data is not allowed. It means the same data will not be repeated in the table. That is called minimal data redundancy. Then data consistency. So what is the data consistency? If any changes, if you are doing in one table, that will reflect automatically, will update in the other table also. That is called data consistency. So first, we have seen organized storage, then data analysis, data sharing, minimal data redundancy, data consistency, then increase the efficiency. Automatically, the redundancy is reduced, the efficiency will increase. The database, the data is organized, which help us to retrieve and search the data efficiently. Then accuracy, data accuracy. The database, data is retrieved accurately from the database. And validity, we can we can validate the data and we can check it with the database, like giving the criteria, the age, for example, you are storing the information of a particular group of people, that when you are entering the data itself, you can validate the person's age should be more than this. That is called validation. Suppose if I am running a company, I should not take the children to work over there. So I am checking their age. If the age is more than 18, then only I am giving the appointment for them. So that is called validity. So you give the validity over there. Then security. Unauthorized access is not allowed in the database. So this is the advantage. The first one is organized storage, data analysis, data sharing, minimal data redundancy, data consistency, increase the efficiency and increase the accuracy, increase the validity and security. These are all the some advantages of using the DBMS. And data models. What is this data model? So we know the database, we know what is data. Now, in which way we want to design and how we want to store our data, that is called data model. The arrangement of data, the database can be designed in different ways, depend on the storage. So the structure of the database database is known as data model. So in which structure, in which way I want to arrange my data, that is called data model. So the data model describes the relationship between the data. There are mainly three different data models we are going to study: hierarchical model, network data model, and relational data model. So three different model we are studying. So data model describes the relationship between the data. So what does data model means? The structure of the database is known as data model. The structure of the database is known as data model, and three different data models are there: hierarchical data model, network data model, and relational data model. So what is hierarchical data model? Hierarchical data model means the data is organized like a tree structure, and the data is stored in the form of table. That is called hierarchical data model. First thing, the data is organized like a tree structure. Second, the data are stored in the form of table. Then it is called as a hierarchical data structure. So how the hierarchical data model, here you can see in the visual hierarchical data model. Like first I have a table called likes limited. In that again I have two subdivision. One is called personal information, the other one is called project information. Under the personal information I have the employee name, salary, and designation. Under the project information I have the details about the project, like project name, project deadline, and employee in charge. So this type of arrangement is called as hierarchical data model. The next one is network data model. So network, from the name itself you can identify. Here multiple records are linked with the same master file. That is the main thing. Multiple records are linked in the same master file. This network model is considered as a tree. Here the master table present in the bottom and the other tables are linked in the master table. So when you see the structure, you will come to know the difference between the hierarchical model and the network data model. Now here you see the same thing. We have likes limited. Again, two divisions are there. One is personal information, the other one is project information. Under the personal, we have employee name, salary, designation. Under the project, we have project name, project deadline. Now if you see, the salary and designation are connected with the project information. The same time, personal information is having the details of the project name also. So there is a link between the table. So that's why it is called as network data model. Then the last one is a relational data model. In the relational data models, based on the relationship between two or more tables. That's why it is called a relational data model of the same database. So here you can see we have a student table. In that, student ID, name, age, and here student ID, name, and teacher is there. Subject ID, name, and teacher. And here if you see, from the student table, student ID, from the teacher table, subject ID, and the extra column, one more column is mark is there. Now student ID has taken from the student table, subject ID has taken from the teacher table. So like two or more table are having in a relation, and we are creating one more new table. This type of relation is called as relational data model. So two or more table of same database. So three different data model we have seen: relational data model, network data model, and hierarchical data model. Now the next relational database model, the concept is introduced by E.F. Codd in the year 1970. It is the most popular database model, is the relational model. So the relational database model, the data elements are stored in different table, and the table is related through the common field. So we need one common field. Through that common field, we will make a relation. Okay, in the relational database model. Now, some of the important terms what we are using in the relational database model. So we will see the first one is entity. Entity means nothing but it is a piece of data that's stored in the database. That is called as entity. For example, roll number. That is a piece of data. Name, age, class, subject. So this is an entity of a particular student record. So a piece of data that is stored in the database is called as entity. Then table. Table is nothing but it is a collection of logically related records. So in the previous one we have seen here student ID, student name, age. So this is the columns. These columns together forms a table. So table is nothing but it is a collection of logically related record. It is organized as a set of columns. Then field, column or attribute all represents the same thing. You can call that as a column or you can call that as a field or an attribute. So it is a smallest entity. We have seen what is entity. Entity is a piece of data that's stored in the database. So here we are what we are saying it is the smallest entity in the database is known as the field. So it's a collection of field is known as a record. Like for example, 2 is a entity. Amit is an entity. 18 is an entity. Now, 2 entity, the name of the entity is what? Student ID. Amit is called what? Name of the student. 18 is the age of the student. Now, all this entity together forms a record. So this is a record now. Okay. So first we have seen um, what is entity, then we have seen what is table, then what is field, what is attribute or column. All these three things represent same meaning only. So it is the smallest entity in the database is known as field. A collection of field is known as record. The collection of records makes the table and a collection of table makes the database. So here it is very important, just again I am repeating, the smallest entity in the database is known as field. A collection of field is known as a record. A collection of record is known as a table. A collection of table is known as a database. So first, smallest entity is called a field. The collection of field is known as a record. Collection of record is known as a table. The collection of table is known as a database. So this order you should be clear, then it will be easy to remember the things. Okay, now data values. So data values are nothing but it's a raw data, represents a numeric or character or alphanumeric like 1, 5, name. All these are data values. Then record. So already we have seen the collection of data values in the field is known as record. Then primary key. So this is the field which uniquely identifies a row in a table. Like for example, student ID. With the help of the student ID, we uniquely identifies a row in a table. That is called as primary key. So primary key is used to be unique identifier for the table. Then relational database. So what is this relational database? Relational database is a collection of related table that is called relational database. Then foreign key. So name itself you can identify foreign from somewhere else we are referring. That's why it is called foreign. It is not from the original table. A field or a combination of field, one table can be used uniquely to identify the record of another table. That the particular field is known as the foreign key. Then candidate key. A candidate key is a field of value that is eligible to be the primary key or called as the candidate key. It is not a primary key now, but it is eligible to be a primary key. That type of fields are called as the primary key. Then which are all not used as the primary key, the other things are called as alternate key. Okay. Then objects of RDBMS. A database is a collection of objects or features that is used to store, represent, retrieve the data. So this already we have seen. And there are different types of objects are there. The first one is table. That is in the very beginning of the thing. We have seen the left side table, form, queries, report. So table is nothing but it is a collection of row and column which is used to store the database. The data in the database first stored in the table only. Then form. Form is nothing but it is used to enter the data in the table. So form is an interface between the database and user. It's the easiest method to enter the data in the database. And form consists of text box, radio button, label, checkbox, more interactive items we can place over there in the form. Then queries are used to retrieve the desired result from the database. And report, the output of any query in the database can be displayed in the form of report. So these are all the objects of our DBMS. I hope the introduction of DBMS will be very clear with this video, with this topic. Suppose if you have any doubt in this, you can ask through the comment, or you can call and ask me, or through the WhatsApp you can clear your doubt. The next class we will continue the next topic of database RDBMS. Okay, I hope it is clear. Take care, study well, all the best. Do well, children.